Welcome to Motion Sports Network. I am the host for this evening. This is Drew Nozar with a end of the week review of the NFL. And before we get started, I do have some housekeeping things to take care of before we go over the scores and highlights of this weekend's actions. Congratulations to Max Van Stappen for finishing first in the Formula One Championship Series, passing Hamilton on the final lap of the Abu Dhabi Championship race. Also want to send my condolences out to the Demaryius Thomas family and friends. He was definitely one of my favorites after stabbing the heart of the Steelers fans during the playoff game where Tim Tebow threw him a strike, and that was one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. Probably one of the best plays Tim Tebow's ever had. But being a Ravens fan, it was definitely one of the most awesome plays. So again, condolences to him and his family. What Denver did to honor him was fantastic. They started the game off with 10 men out on the field on the offensive line. Also with an interception earlier in the game. They did a tribute to him as well. So let's get started. We'll start off with the earlier games before we get into Sunday Night Football with Chicago and Green Bay, which will probably end up being a snoozer. So let's start off with some of the highlights for you fantasy fans out there that might not have seen of any of the games. We'll start off with Atlanta at Carolina. Atlanta wins 29-21. It looks like it's going to be... Let's see if I can stop this out of here. Matt Ryan, 19 for 28, 190 yards with a touchdown. Not too bad. Versus Cam Newton's 178 with one interception. He did have a rushing touchdown with 47 yards. Cordell Patterson with a touchdown, looks like for 58 yards rushing. Leading receiver, Russell Gage for 64 yards receiving. Leading receiver for Carolina, Robbie Anderson, 7 receptions, 84 yards with a TD. Atlanta's been looking stronger lately. Carolina don't even really know who their quarterback is anymore. They're just falling apart. A lot of speculation that Rule will be out of there, taking over one of these bigger college positions. We'll see with that. Let's get into the one that hurts me the most. Baltimore and Cleveland. Lamar Jackson leaves in the early second quarter with appears to be a knee sprain. And the Cleveland Browns came out with a win, 24-22. Ravens had a chance getting an onside kick, which is extremely rare nowadays, with a chance to take over the lead. And Huntley couldn't really do much, wound up taking a sack and things like that. So that killed him. Box scores. Let's see what we have. If I can pull these up. Huntley, 270 and a touchdown. Deontay Freeman, 64 yards rushing. Leading receiver, Mark Andrews. Look at that number, 11 receptions, 115 and a touchdown. That is incredible. Baker Mayfield, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Nick Chubb was pretty much caged up with only 59 yards on 17 carries. Peoples-Jones, leading receiver, 5 receptions, 90 yards, with Landry and Hooper with the touchdown receptions. Getting into next, we got Seattle at Houston, 33-13. Seattle leading the way for this game. Russell Wilson, nice comeback game, 260 with 2 touchdowns. Look at Rashad Penny. He might be the Waiver wire pickup of the week. Goodness. 16 carries, 137, and 2 touchdowns. Wow. Who saw that one coming? Tyler Lockett, another huge game. 5 receptions, 142, and a touchdown. Wow. Seattle showed up. I guess against the Houston, everybody does, but decent numbers, fantasy numbers for those guys. Passing, Mills, 331 with a touchdown. Lance Burkhead led in rushing, 11 carries, 40 yards. And Brandon Cooks led with receptions, 8 for 101, no touchdowns. Brevin Jordan with the 1 touchdown reception. That pretty much helps nobody. Next game, blowout up in Kansas City. The Las Vegas Raiders 9, Kansas City 48. That's just crazy. Derek Carr, solid game, 263, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jacobs, 9 carries, 24 yards. Man, that's just a waste of talent. Hunter Renfrow, look at that, 13 receptions, 117 and a touchdown. Another fantastic game for him on 14 targets, 13 receptions. That's awesome. Patrick Mahomes, 258, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty much your average you're going to get from him. Let's see. Derek Gore leading the way in yards, 66 rushing yards with a touchdown. Edwards-Helaire with 2 touchdowns and only 37 yards rushing. And your top receiving guy, surprise, surprise, Tyreek Hill, 4 receptions, 76 yards, no touchdowns. Darrell Williams with the 1 touchdown, and Josh Gordon got his first touchdown of the season since joining the Kansas City Chiefs. Good to see him back, but he'll probably wind up throwing that away, so we'll see. Another blowout. Man, these early games are really terrible. Up in New York, we got New Orleans at the Jets, 30-9. And it looks like, let's see, leading the way, Taysom Hill, 175 in the air. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Kamara, you knew he was going to be the workhorse today. 27 carries for 120 and a touchdown. With Taysom Hill not really doing much in the air, he did it on the ground with his legs. 11 carries, 73 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Leading receiver is Nick Vannett, 3 receptions for 44 yards. Let's see, Zach Wilson, 202, not much going on. And he actually led in rushing, 4 carries, 33 yards. Wow. Braxton Berrios, 6 receptions for 52 yards. And they're having another season with horrible injuries as well. Tough year for New York. But can't go anywhere but up. Let's see, getting into Jacksonville at Tennessee. Another horrible game. Let's see, Trevor Lawrence with his typical game, 221 in the air, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's your normal stats. I think he's still on pace to beat Peyton Manning's all-time interception for a year. Leading rusher James Robinson, 6 carries, 4 yards rushing. That's just terrible. Marvin Jones, 6 receptions, 70 yards. Not much to say for Jacksonville. You know, they're going to again have a top 5 pick in the draft, and they need all the help they can get, and they need to get rid of their coach. It's just been awful. Talking bad about his employees, that he's a winner and everybody else is a loser. Urban Meyer just needs to get out of there. He just doesn't belong. I'm sure he's doing all that just so he can get fired. Just Jacksonville has nowhere to go. Tannehill, 191, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Deontay Foreman, 13 carries, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Ryan Tannehill, 4 carries, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Good for them. Swaim, 3 receptions, 45 yards. Julio returns back with 4 receptions, 33 yards. Not much offense, but when you're playing Jacksonville, you don't need much of anything to get a win out there. Let's see, going into Dallas and Washington. It was 27-20 with a chance of Washington actually to come back and win that game, or at least tie it up, until Allen wound up fumbling the ball away with seconds to go. Giving the win to Dallas. Some think his knee was down, some think his arm was going forward. It was pretty clear. It was a fumble. Dallas picked it up. Kearse picks it up and ended up winning the game for him. Heineke goes down. I believe it was either a concussion or something, or his leg or something that took him out. Kyle Allen came in. Leading passer, of course, Prescott, but he still had a horrible game. 211, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. One was a pick six to Holcomb. Ezekiel Elliott, he's done. They need to get rid of him next year. Make Pollard the number 1 back. 12 carries, 45 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions, 61 yards. Amari Cooper, 5 for 51 and a touchdown. Gallup also had 5 for 60. For Washington, before Heineke left, 122 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Gibson, 10 carries, 36 yards. I think he had a fumble in that game as well. Cam Sims with a over-the-top catch on Diggs for a touchdown for 43 yards. So he went up with 3 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown, which you have to go check that out. Everybody talks how good Trayvon Diggs is, and he just got absolutely lost on that play. All right, so now we're getting into another blowout. Surprise, surprise. Detroit at Denver. This was the emotional game for Denver. They had to win this game, and they've actually been playing good as of late. With the passing of Demaryius Thomas, a lot of heavy hearts in this game. They needed this win, and they came out swinging. Jared Goff, 215, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Craig Reynolds, 11 carries, 83 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 receptions, 73 yards. Your typical Detroit game. Their defense has been fighting for them, but this game was just out of their hands. Teddy Bridgewater, 179, 2 touchdowns. Gordon, 24 carries, 111 and 2 touchdowns. Javonte Williams, 15 carries, 73 yards and a touchdown. And he also had a receiving touchdown, so that's a good day for him. Noah Fant leaves in the receiving. 4 receptions, 51 yards, no touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy, 5 for 47. And again, with an emotional game, Denver was going to pretty much steal that win regardless. Let's see, next game, Chargers and Giants. This game wasn't even a contest. They got some garbage points from the Giants. 21-37. Los Angeles. This game wasn't even really close. Glennon, 191, 2 touchdowns and interception. Barkley came back with a decent game, 16 carries, 64 yards. Rudolph, 2 catches, 66 yards. Barkley also had a receiving touchdown and 31 yards. So good day for him. Good to see him back producing. With a horrible season with injuries in his foot and his knee. Herbert, your typical game with him, passer rating of 133. That's incredible. 275, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Eckler, 12 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. He also went out earlier with a knee. Justin Jackson and Joshua Kelly came out in relief. those are going to be another hot items on the waiver wire this week for you fantasy people. Receiving, Jalen Guyton, the writing was on the wall for him to actually produce very well. With Mike Williams coming back from injury, and also his name's getting out of my head, but he was on the COVID list. But it was three receptions for Guyton, 87 yards and a touchdown. Josh Palmer, 5 receptions, 66 yards and a touchdown. Mike Williams, 6 for 61. It's just a consistent day for the receivers, especially when Justin Herbert goes off for 275 and 3 scores. Good day for San Diego. They're going to be a team that nobody wants to play. Now 8-5. They're in the wild card behind Kansas City. That's just a team you just don't want to play come playoff time. Let's see here. This one hurt. I was in a 12-leg parlay. I was 9-0, and I just needed Cincinnati to beat San Francisco. Went into overtime. 49ers marched down the field after Cincinnati kicked the field goal in overtime. 49ers marched down the field and got a touchdown by Ayuk. And that sealed my 12-leg parlay. Bad for me, but being a Ravens fan, seeing the Bengals lose still keeps us in first place. So kind of a double-edged sword there. So Garoppolo, 296, 2 scores. A lot of that was in garbage time because they were behind the Bengals, having come back. Jeff Wilson, 13 carries, 55 yards. Deebo Samuel rushed 8 carries, 37 yards and a touchdown. George Kittle, another back-to-back monster game, 13 receptions, 151 and a touchdown. Ayuk with the game-winning touchdown, 6 receptions, 62 yards and a touchdown. Burrow, after coming back with the dislocated pinky, look at those numbers. Incredible. 25 for 34, 348, 2 touchdowns. Rating of 125.6. That's awesome. Joe Mixon, 18 carries, 58 yards. Higgins, 5 receptions, 114. But it was the Jamar Chase show with 5 receptions, 77 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The dude is just an absolute beast. He's just an incredible talent to watch. And the last game that we had going in before the Chicago-Green Bay game was a awesome game if you watched it. Buffalo at Tampa. It looked like Tampa was on just a snoozer of a game. Buffalo made it a game coming into the final, took it to overtime. Tom Brady throws Rashad Perriman's only target for 1 catch for 58 yards for a touchdown for the game winner. Josh Allen, when you throw 54 times, you're not having a good day. He threw for 308, 2 touchdowns and an interception, but Buffalo's not a team that needs to throw 54 yards. They should be running the ball more. Josh Allen rushed 12 carries, 109 for a touchdown. When you make up for 417 yards for yourself, that's just tough for Buffalo. Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions, 74 yards. Cole Beasley, 9 receptions, 64 yards. And they got all the stats over here. Dawson Knox, 7 receptions, 60 yards and a touchdown. Gabriel Davis, 5 receptions, 43 yards and a touchdown. They were just spreading it out all over the place, even with the loss. Tom Brady, excellent as always. 363, 2 touchdowns, rating of 105.6. Fournette, awesome game, 19 carries, 113 and a touchdown. Brady had a rushing touchdown. Chris Godwin, it's either him or Evans, and looks like Chris Godwin got the better of the week. 10 receptions, 105. Evans, 6 receptions, 91 and a touchdown. Gronk with another solid game, 5 receptions, 62 yards. And let's see if we have a score update for the Packers and Bears. It is 0-0 with 6 minutes to go in the first. Justin Fields, 2 for 5 for 27 yards. Montgomery's having a good start, 6 carries, 30 yards. Mooney with 1 catch, 19 yards. Aaron Rodgers, 2 for 2, 12 yards, no rushing yet. Lazard with 1 catch for 6 yards, or for 6 yards, I'm sorry. And that pretty much does it for this weekend recap of the NFL. If you have any questions, you can shoot us emails or text us on, or direct Instagram us on YouTube. Also, we're on Facebook Live. We are on Periscope, Motion Sports Network. If you have any questions, about your NFL lineups for next week, send us a message. This is Drew with Motion Sports Network out. Thanks. Bye.